Hey everybody, welcome to another video. Today's a Valentine's build, and we're going to be building this heart air balloon. So Valentine's Day is coming very quick, and I needed something for the wife, so saw some things I kind of liked online and modified a little and came up with this design on my own. It's a tea light holder, so it'll hold a LED tea light, and that'll be basically the fire for it. And I don't know, I just liked it, so we'll see if the wife likes it too. For tools for this one, I'm going to be using my router with a 3/8 roundover bit, my sander, jigsaw, a drill, got my little hand sanding block, got a Kreg drill guide, which I really like that. Um, got a couple of different squares, and then we're going to be using 3/4 inch pine and 5/16 dowel rod. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing I'm going to do for this is build the base, and to do that I'm going to start with making a 10-degree cut at the end of the board, and then I'm going to cut off two pieces that are 2.5 inches tall. That's going to be the height of the base. The next cut's a little trickier. I'm going to set the miter at 45 degrees, but I'm going to leave the saw beveled at 10 degrees, which is going to give you that outward slope for the basket versus just a square. The side pieces for the basket measure 3.5 inches wide on the top and 1.25 inches wide on the bottom. Probably would have been a lot easier if I had grabbed some tape and taped these together for the glue to dry, but I decided to do it the hard way and try to fumble around and hold it together while I shoot nails in it, so not the safest, but also not the most dangerous thing I've ever done. See that little guy walking in the back there? That's Orion. He's my new shop dog. He's a German short hair pointer. He's about 13 weeks old, and he's a handful. He's a lot of fun. I made a silly little video where I introduced him as the new employee here at Wade's Workshop, and it's a lot of fun, so if you haven't seen it yet, I'll put a link in the description so you can stop by and see it. The next cut I'm making here is for a piece that's going to go in the center of the basket to hold the candle. This is a 2x2 inch square. It's going to have 10-degree beveled edges on each side, so it settles right down in the center of that basket. So first thing I'm doing is cutting the two 10-degree bevels on each side. And I'm going to take it to the drill press here. I'm using an 1 5/8 Forstner bit to drill a spot for the tea light. Make sure you go deep enough that the tea light sits in there. It's not going to fall out easy, but don't go too deep that you're going to bust through the bottom. After that, I'm back to the miter saw where I'm finishing cutting out the 2-inch square. The fit was just a little too tight, so I'm going to sand it down a little, which I'm not going to show you all of it on here. I sanded for a second, but I spent a few minutes sanding this down to make sure it fit in there nicely. I almost messed up here. I reached over and grabbed my nail gun and was about to shoot a nail when I realized if I shoot a nail here, it's going to stick right out where the candle goes. And I don't want to see the nail, so you don't need to nail this piece in. The glue is strong enough to hold it, and I fought the urge to try to figure out how to shoot a nail into it and left it, and it was strong enough. So the next step is to figure out where to drill the holes for the dowels. I'm just centering it in the center of the 3/4 inch board on each of the corners, so it's going to drill right through the miter, but you want to make sure in the previous step when you shoot the nails to hold the base together that you put them low enough that you don't hit them while you're doing this step, because that'll mess up your project. Alright, it's time to start working on the heart balloon. So what I'm doing here is measuring where to put the dowels, and I figured that out by measuring the distance between the holes on the base, and then I'm just transferring it to my template here. Now I'm putting a little square edge on the bottom here, you'll see in a second. The reason I'm doing that is I want to drill the holes into the heart before I cut the heart out, because once you cut the heart out, it's very hard to drill the holes at the angle you need because you're trying to fight the angle of the heart. So this seemed to work out really well, so I just cut and left that square there, and then lined it up with the bottom of the board, and transferred onto the board where I want to drill those holes, and it worked really well. Now this tool here is my Kreg drill guide, and I really like this thing for projects like this. It's got a little slot in the bottom that'll hook onto either 1/2 inch or 3/4, and so it pops right on there, and your holes are perfectly square where they should be. They're not left or right of center. They go nice straight in. It's got a metal bushing in it so the drill bit can't eat into the plastic, and really awesome for projects like this. So I'll make sure I put a link in the description for you. What I'm doing here is finding the center of the heart, so that way I can mark out where I want to cut the groove. One of them is going to be in the top of one of the hearts, and one will be in the bottom of the other heart. So that way, when I go to assemble them, they'll slide together on the groove and make the heart a three-dimensional balloon. There's a lot of different tools you can use to cut the hearts out, and I decided to use my jigsaw. I've got it set up with a scroll saw blade, so it's very easy to control, and it follows the curves really well. If you made it this far in the video, I assume you're enjoying it, so if you do me a favor and hit that like button, it definitely helps me out a lot. And then if you want to see more videos like it, hit the subscribe button. I try to put out content regularly, and if you hit the subscribe button, they'll notify you when I put out other videos. The dowels I'm using here are 5/16 inch diameter, and I cut them at about 8 inches long. They go into the balloon about an inch and into the base about an inch, so that leaves about 6 inches in between the base and the balloon, which to me looks like the perfect distance. Alright, so I want to put a roundover on the balloon, but it's got those holes that I drilled for the dowel rods to go in. So if you round across that with a roundover bit, it's going to really look pretty terrible. So I decided to give a try of putting dowels into the holes and then cutting them off at the same angle. So that way the router can ride right on that dowel rod while I route it, and then I can drill just a little hole into the dowel rod and screw a screw in it and pop it right back out. And this idea worked out pretty well. Remember when I said to make sure you put the nails low enough that when you drill the holes, you're not going to hit those nails? I didn't listen to that advice very well, and this one, the drill hit the nail and made it lean over a little bit, and the hole's a little sloppy, so I managed to get it in with a little extra glue and letting it sit and dry, and it's holding up pretty well, but wish I had heeded that advice and put the nail a little lower because I wouldn't have that problem. How many of you have been reading my shirt going, that is not how you spell normal? Well, it's not. The shirt says nominal, and it's one of my favorite shirts. It's from one of my favorite YouTubers, so if you know who it's from, go in the comments and make a comment. Tell me who it is, because I'm curious how many of you know who it is. If you're not sure, I'll put in the description who it's from. He's one of my favorite YouTubers. Love watching his videos, and they discontinued this shirt, and it's one of my favorites. The stain I'm using is Bear Stain from Home Depot, and the colors are for the heart, barn red, and for the basket, it's going to be golden oak. I'm going to speed this part up just a little bit, but while I'm staining the heart here, I figured I'd mention I've had a lot of requests for more pictures and videos of Orion, and I know a lot of you aren't here to see pictures of my dog, so I went ahead and made him his own Instagram account. So if you are a dog lover and you want to see videos of Orion and watch him grow up and learn how to do things like sit and shake, which he's doing really well at, his Instagram page is adventures with underscore Orion. And I'll put a link in the description for that as well. But it's fun to watch him. He's doing well. He actually learned how to lay down, even though he does it about 50% of the time. He's trying real hard. So if you want to follow along there, come over and take a look. And if not, that's why I'm going to separate it, because not everyone here is a dog lover. It's time to put the final assembly here and glue the basket to the balloon. I figured out that putting the balloon upside down and then feeding the basket into it worked a lot better than trying to do it the other way. All right, well, the heart air balloon is done, and I think it turned out really good. I think the wife's going to like it. Looking forward to giving it to her. I got to hide this video from her so she doesn't see it before Valentine's Day, but I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, hit that like button, and then consider subscribing if you'd like to see more videos like this. Thanks for watching.